Hey fellow hunker downers, it is Sarah Linton with Baird & Warner Real Estate. There's obviously been a lot of changes in the Chicago real estate market since COVID-19. Today is April 22nd. If you were to ask me how's the market, my 1 second knee-jerk reaction would be it is slow, but we are seeing signs of hope. So to deep dive into this, how slow were we? So things started taking place around St. Patrick's Day, restrictions. After that, we saw an 85% drop in showing activity. So compared to last year. So we did 85% less showings that same week compared to 2019. That is dramatic. What's even worse is that we stayed at that level, give or take a few, for 4 weeks. So luckily, it's been 5 weeks since that dramatic drop, and this past weekend, the 18th, we finally saw some air in our lungs, some life there. We went from about 85% to 46% of last year's showing volume. So 85 to 46, I will take that any week during this pandemic for us. Economists around the country, we've heard them discuss a U-shaped recovery. We've heard them talk about a very positive V-shaped recovery. A lot of experts now focused on cities like Chicago that thankfully were not as drastically hit with the pandemic. They see our real estate market recovering more in a check mark. So acknowledging the fact that we had a steep, dramatic decrease of activity, but then we'll have a slow, steady increase of activity. They're expecting to see 20% more showings, 20% more new listings added to the market each week. So in theory, 8 to 10 weeks, Chicago should be back to normal. Only time, of course, will tell. About what I've seen in our market though, the non-data view, I have seen a lot of sellers still pushing pause on listing their home for sale. So they're on the sidelines, they're waiting for that shelter in place order to be lifted, or at least, a big bright light at the end of the tunnel to feel comfortable listing their home for sale. On the flip side, with the buyers, there's still quite a few active buyers out there. I would say a lot of them. They, shockingly, even with the high unemployment rates, these people are stable in their jobs and their income. They feel secure. They still want to take advantage of very low interest rates. And more importantly, or equally important, they plan to buy this year and they still want to buy this year. So we have just about zero new inventory coming on the market and a high demand pool. So supply low, demand high, usually tends to be multiple offers, which is exactly what I saw last weekend. In a very low inventory segment in Logan Square, I had a buyer love a home. We went to go see it. We were the 5th offer on the table within 2 days. So he quickly realized that he wasn't getting a pandemic deal. There's a lot of buyers just like him out there with stable jobs and still wanting to buy, and those multiple offers, the home is definitely going over asking price. So speaking of price, I have seen some price drops in the market, but I don't think that's pandemic related. Those homes were overpriced to begin with. They were on the market during the spring. They were trying to stretch that price, and the pandemic's not really allowing you to stretch a price unless it's a perfect property. So my message overall for Chicagoans out there with real estate, if you're a seller thinking about listing your home for sale, if you're in a low inventory market, list it now. You have more eyes on your property. You have a large buyer pool at your hands. You don't want to wait until everyone else is listing their homes, because then you'll just be one of many. For the buyers out there in today's market, have some patience. It's going to get better. Each week we are expecting more inventory, more sellers to recognize the need of those buyers out there. So stay patient. Don't re-sign your lease, and be prepared not to get a pandemic deal. Be prepared to go up in multiple offers once properties do come to the market. So that's about the summary. If you've got questions, reach out anytime. Sarah.Linton@BairdWarner.com.